A lot of us at some point have looked at our single season and thought, God, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? You may not say it out loud, but maybe deep down it feels to you like a punishment or a delay. Like everyone else is being rewarded with love, companionship, and weddings, and you're just like, you're there. You're the one left behind, waiting for your turn, and it seems like it's for eternity. Maybe you even prayed, Lord, did I miss it somehow? But what if your singleness is not delay? It's divine designed. What if you're not being punished? You're being prepared. One of the misconceptions we have in our single season is that singleness is either a punishment or a delay, but it really isn't. The truth that conquers that misconception is that singleness is God's design, it's God's preparation, it's not denial, it's a season that is just as valid as any, and that is very, very useful. And that if you use and navigate this season well, it literally opens the door to a better marriage season. Welcome to episode 1 of the Singlehood series, where we break the lies and misconceptions we have believed around love, waiting, and God's timing in singlehood. My name is Fawn Peter. I am a faith, mindset, and mental health coach, and right here I help you grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Today we're dealing with one of the most biggest misconceptions, which, as I have already said, is that singleness is a punishment or a delay. But like I said, it's not punishment, it's preparation, design, and even a blessing. By the time we're done with this video today, I hope that you never ever see this season the same again. And by the time we're done with this series in total, I hope it doesn't just change your mindset about singlehood, but it helps you to maximize it, use it to milk it, and to literally explode in the beauty of your singlehood. Let's start with where this lie even came from. You see, society has trained us to think and to believe that marriage is the ultimate proof of maturity and success. In the world's culture, and sometimes in even Christianese, you're told you're not complete until you find your other half. Even in Christian spaces, we hear subtle messages like, you're going to be ready for ministry when you find your other half, when you get married. Or, don't worry, your time will come. I've even heard of people say that when they want to put someone in a certain kind of office, they want married people. All of that sounds innocent, but it creates a conception, a mindset, and an ideology that singleness is a problem to be fixed, not a purpose to be enjoyed, lived out, and I don't know everything. You see, in 1 Corinthians 7:7, Paul literally said, I wish that all of you were as I am. Now, one could argue that that is his preference. He likes it that way. He prefers that God didn't say we should be single. But you see, in verse 32, he says, an unmarried person is concerned about the Lord's affairs, how to please the Lord. What does this tell you? This tells you that singlehood is a season where you are able to tap into the very reason for you being here, into the purpose God has for you, into God's design, God's will, God's furtherance of Him on the earth. As opposed to when you're married, which Paul stated that you now have to be concerned about your husband's affairs as well. And by the time you get to have your husband's affairs, your children's affairs, a lot of responsibilities are added to the list that you could have had. This is not to say that marriage is a burden or a problem. Please, that's not what the singlehood series is about at all. I don't want you to think that. It is to help you see the beauty in your season, but not to see it in a sense that then you say, I don't want to get married. It is to help you see that you are in this season for a reason. All of those responsibilities are not here yet. So you are focused on the Lord's affairs, yourself, your healing, your growth, etc., etc. That is what you should be focusing on, not searching for the next person to marry or date. It is very clear that Paul was not punished by God. He was positioned by God. His singleness gave him capacity, time, energy, focus to serve God fully. So if Paul saw singleness as a gift that helped him attain all of this, why do we see it as a curse? Why do we see it as a punishment? This is simply because culture has made us idolize connection, socializing, marriages. And while doing this, it has caused us to fear solitude. Why me? God, when? Not to say God, when is not something you should ever say. Please, sometimes I'm like, hey, God, when? No. But it's from a joyful perspective, not a, hey, God, when? Why me? Why am I? Do you know what I mean? We're debunking that misconception today. Here is the truth. Singleness is not delay and punishment, it is a workshop. It's not a waiting room, it is a workshop, a training ground. God is not stalling you, He's sculpting you. Speaking of sculpting, let's talk about God's preparation process. See, every person God used mightily went through a process, a preparation process, a hidden season, if you will. Joseph had the pit, David had the pasture, Esther had the palace before she had the crown. None of them were being punished, they were being prepared. especially Joseph, because that's quite the story there, Joseph and David. Preparation is God's language. Before he gives you something valuable, he will strengthen the hands that will hold that thing that he's giving you, your hands. So when you're single, God is strengthening your heart, your discernment, your emotional capacity, your emotional balance, your vision. He's saying, before I connect you to someone else, I want to connect you to yourself and to the purpose that I have for you. Why? Because if you don't find identity in God first, you'll spend your marriage trying to find identity in your partner. And that is a recipe for idolatry, not intimacy. This is why marriage has become an idolized institution. God is saying, before I send someone to walk beside you, let me be the one that walks and works within you. He doesn't isolate you to punish you, he isolates you to individualize you. What does that mean, to individualize you? It means he's crafting your character. He's teaching you peace in solitude, and he's healing you and breaking you off and away from validation addiction, attention seeking, loss of identity, living for someone else, burnout, etc. And all of this is because if you don't master solitude, you will idolize connection. You'll confuse companionship with completion. And that's how people end up in relationships that drain them. Like I said, burnout. All because they've entered into a relationship and a marriage from a place of emptiness instead of an overflow. You've heard the saying that goes, it is two complete people who come together to become one whole and work together, serving each other, intertwining, and just, well, that's not exactly how they say it. I've expanded it a bit. But you know that saying, not two halves that come together to then complete each other, because if you then separate, you become half an incomplete half. But then it is two complete individuals who have found self, identity, purpose, etc., come together to merge into a conglomerate for a common purpose, to further the work of God and whatever else it is that they have and they're trying to build, which leaves an impact on the world and in life. Now, let's talk about the things that singleness teaches you. I call this a curriculum of singlehood. A friend of mine said something. Marriage exposes your singleness. You see, your singlehood is a season that teaches you self awareness. It exposes your patterns, your need for approval, your need for attention, your fear of rejection, your avoidance of accountability, your need for control or your fear of control. The list goes on and on. These are the things that the singlehood season is supposed to address and deal with, not your marriage. Yes, if you don't deal with it in your singlehood season, you will have to deal with it in your marriage. But a disciplined, diligent person who uses their singlehood season well is going to address all these things so that they go into marriage a better person. Because, like I said, my friend said, when you get into marriage, it's going to expose all of this. What am I saying? God uses your singlehood to hold up a mirror to you, not to shame you, but to show you, to expose you, to bring to light the things that need to be worked on. And then in partnership with you, He works on them with you for your own benefit in marriage. Essentially, he exposes it to shape you, to structure you, to sculpt you, not to shame you. And sometimes what we call delay in our lives is simply that preparation and shaping. It's simply development. You see, some of us are asking for a spouse who can communicate well, but you don't know how to handle communication. You don't know how to handle truth. So God has to teach you how to take truth, including criticism, feedback, etc., without shutting down, getting avoidant, being so hurt that it's so difficult for you to get past it. You are the one asking for a spouse who can communicate well, but you can't handle true communication. Make it make sense. You see, you cannot want a spouse who communicates well when you don't know how to handle conflict, because no two people who stay together for so long will never have conflict. Everyone will always have conflict. So, how do you expect your spouse to communicate with you through the bad, the good, the ugly, the wonderful, the nasty, the disgusting, if you cannot handle the conflict that is bound to come by communicating some of these things? And remember, communication is not always verbal. There's non-verbal communication, there's different forms of communication. And so when something is communicated to you, especially when it is intentional and it breeds conflict, because what is conflict? Conflict is simply differing opinions, right? In two differing opinions, or when two people who are from different backgrounds come together, they're learning each other, they're growing, they are married, we have different opinions and we don't know how to reconcile it. So instead of arriving at a conclusion or navigating it in a way that is healthy, we arrive at conflict. Or sometimes the conflict begins and then we, kill the conflict by arriving at an amicable solution or something that works for everybody. So you're praying for someone who's emotionally mature, but God is still teaching you how to handle and manage your own triggers without being toxic to someone else in the process. You're asking for a kingdom partner, but He's going to teach you how to prioritize the king first before the kingdom partner. Do you see the pattern? So God isn't denying you, He's defining you and refining you, because a relationship can only be as healthy as the people inside it. If you skip preparation, you sabotage the promise. So when it feels like nothing is happening, I promise you something is, well, something may not be happening, or depending on what you are using the singleness season to do, but we're coming to that. It feels like nothing is happening, but if you're doing the work and navigating your single season, well, something is happening. God is working on you, renovating your heart before that man comes, cleaning house. You understand? You know when someone is about to check in someone, or you book a room, before you come, the clean room, you get it ready for the person who's going to come live in there. When you see singleness as a punishment and delay instead of as a season, as preparation, as a divine gift, you start to rush, you overcompensate, you work from fear, from emptiness, from need, from desperation. You move from fear instead of faith, you rush and you settle. You start chasing validation instead of cultivating value with somebody that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. Some of you don't even know how to have relationship. That's just the relationship phase. You don't even know how to have value in a relationship. It's still validation seeking. That mindset that you're being left out, punished, or delayed creates scarcity. And that scarcity will breed anxiety. Instead of focusing on yourself and the work you have to do in yourself, you start to measure yourself by timelines, comparison, how many weddings you've attended, how many of your friends are attended, how old you are, etc., etc. But you see, that pressure is not from God, it's from the enemy, because God doesn't shame you into love. He shapes you, He readies you, He prepares you, and He brings divine partnership at divine timing when you are ready. So, singleness is a season where you practice growth, emotional regulation, communication, purpose, and stewardship. Because when that love comes, when that marriage comes, you're not going to have as much time to learn things on the fly. And even if you have as much time, I promise you, it's going to be harder as much time. It's going to be more difficult. That's why some people get into marriage without getting ready, and they're like, oh my God, had I known, this whole thing is tiring me. People will test you. Oh, da, 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 da. What do you think it was? You didn't do your testing when you were single. You didn't work on yourself. You didn't grow. Even if you grew and you navigated your season, your single season well, marriage will still test you. But guess what is going to help you to survive that testing? The work you did in your singlehood. So when you get into marriage and you didn't do that work, it's harder. Marriage requires two healthy people, or at least two people who are actively, constantly, every day becoming healthy, working on health. Not two people who want to escape loneliness coming together, or who want to have legitimate sex. So if you're lonely right now, let that loneliness push you into a closer relationship with God. Let it be a language of prayer, not desperation, not panic. Tell God, teach me to be content here, even before you bring anyone else here, so that I can be of good use to the person and myself and my children and the society as well. Everything is connected to everything. Because when you find peace in solitude with yourself and you are full and whole, connection becomes a choice, not a craving, not a desperate thing, not something you need that you're not complete and you need before you can survive. On this series, we're going to be talking about all the myriad of things that you can do, you can benefit, you can learn, and you can navigate and become in your single season. I've already mentioned a few of them on this video already. Your season is a time to grow, to find self, to bloom, to do everything, to heal. Oh, healing is so important. I think we don't talk about healing a whole lot. That's why I like to talk about it, because people think time is just going to make certain things just disappear. The older you get, the trauma is just going to disappear, and you will never be the person you were before the trauma happened, even when you didn't do anything to work on yourself. Or when you put a ring on your finger, suddenly you no longer cheat. You will now listen. You are now patient. You are now a proper spouse because you put a ring on the finger and you did a ceremony and you wore a white dress and you said, I do. Your singlehood season is the season for work, so that you can actually enjoy your marriage. Because if you don't, you will do the work in your marriage and you will reduce the time that you can actually get the best and enjoy your marriage. I'm going to be diving, in detail, in depth, video after video into some of the things that we can learn and become during our single season, and how best we can handle our single season. So before I leave you today, I want you to say with me, and say it in the comment section, say it in your homes: this is not punishment. This is sculpting. This is shaping beautiful preparation. Say it again. This is not delay. This is development. You see, your mindset really does matter. We go around saying, oh, your words matter, your mindset matters, attitude matters, but we don't actually live it. Start living it. Your mindset matters. Change your mindset about singlehood, and you'll start to enjoy the season. Your words have power. Change your confession, change your perception, you change your experience of it, and you change even your future, because your words are also prophetic. God is not late. He's never late. He's intentional. But you'll never arrive at where He wants you to arrive if you simply refuse to do the work that He's trying to do in you and with you. You'll constantly be in a season of preparation. That's another video for another day, so that you don't stay permanently in a season of preparation, because once the preparation is done or has gotten to a healthy point, it happens. So God is not late, He's intentional. Note that, like I said, change your perception and partner with Him on it so that you can actually move to the next step. Every divine promise has a divine process. He's not making you wait to punish you, He's making you wait to fit you, to mold you. Not to frustrate you, but to mold you. You don't build a palace overnight. You lay the foundation first, and that is what this is, foundation. So please don't curse, don't despise, don't hate your construction season, because when the season is over, everyone will see the fruit, the wisdom, the beauty, the joy, the substance in the woman or man that you are in your marriage. While it looked like delay to them, it was sculpting. And when they see the fruit, you might just be the reason why someone is able to find peace in their single season and do the actual work, not just finding peace and just sitting at home doing nothing. No, doing the actual work. So God is only protecting you by withholding what you're not ready and capable of holding rightly yet. And He's not just withholding it and waiting for you to do the work yourself. No, He's doing the work in you for you. All He needs is your partnership. So change your perception and mindset about singlehood today and enjoy it. It's not punishment, it's not delay, it's preparation. Don't elongate your preparation season. Don't despise it, don't hate it, so that you enjoy the season and you can actually get the required and best benefit from it. My name is Fawn Peter. If this video blessed you today, share it to someone who you think needs to hear it. Don't forget to like and to subscribe so that you get notifications of further videos that will be coming in. I hope this blessed you. Leave a comment and let me know what your thoughts are, or any other thing you want me to talk about regarding the singlehood season. This is going to be a long series, but I'll see you on the next one. Bye.